Hello, Story 36 here with some extra material. Story 36 is really a short story. I call it the 60s chicks or the hippies chicks. I'd say 60s. A couple of female spirits I encountered, somebody else as well. Um, uh, were dressed in styles from the 1960s. But before I get into that, with everything going on in the world, with the coronavirus and all that right now, a very heavy time of uncertainty and fear. And wherever you are, I'm sure you're going through it yourself in your own way, you and your family, or yourself. You know, it seems kind of heartless for me because this started out kind of as a Christian channel. I never intended it, never planned it, just became that. Then it went into these stories, and I got beer reviews and accordion music, and thought I should give God some credit and a little bit, not a little, a lot. I think at this point we're all doing some soul searching, aren't we? So I wanted to share something that I came to today, getting back to my morning devotionals. It takes a pandemic for me to try to get myself back online, you know? Sad but true. And somebody told me they liked the candles, so I brought the candles back in. I don't know if these old eyes can read with it. Oh, they can. What do you know? So I came to Psalm 118. Gonna need a little more light. Psalm 118 this morning, and just prayed to God to lead me to whatever He had for me, and this is what I came to. All right, bear with me. I'm not going to read the whole thing. In fact, sorry, I got to do this. Ambiance off. Ow. Ouch. Lights on. Now you get to see my what's dirty living room. It's not that dirty, but I had a clothesline strung up behind me. I didn't want anybody to see that. That's why I came into this setting. I got a dryer now. You might be able to hear it in the background. So, okay, Psalm 118. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever. Let Israel say, His love endures forever. Let the house of Aaron say, His love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, His love endures forever. His love endures forever. This is a fact. In my anguish, I cried to the Lord, and He answered by setting me free. The Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? Or a virus, for that matter. Sorry, I shouldn't add to this. I'll just read it. The Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? The Lord is with me. He is my helper. I will look in triumph on my enemies. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in man. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. All the nations surrounded me, but in the name of the Lord I cut them off. They surrounded me on every side, but in the name of the Lord I cut them off. They swarmed around me like bees, but they died out as quickly as burning thorns. In the name of the Lord I cut them off. I was pushed back and about to fall, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation. Shouts of joy and victory resound in the tents of the righteous. The Lord's right hand has done mighty things. The Lord's right hand is lifted high. The Lord's right hand has done mighty things. I will not die, but live. I will proclaim that what the Lord has done. The Lord has chastened me severely, but He has not given me over to death. Open for me the gates of righteousness. I will enter and give thanks to the Lord. This is the gate of the Lord, through which the righteous may enter. I will give you thanks, for you answered me. You have become my salvation. The stone that the builders rejected has become the capstone. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. O Lord, save us. O Lord, grant us success. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. From the house of the Lord, we bless you. The Lord is God, and he has made his light shine upon us. With boughs in hand, join in the festal procession up to the horns of the altar. You are my God, and I will give you thanks. You are my God, and I will exalt you. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. And that is Psalm 118, New International Version. And, thought I'd share that. These are pretty tough times. It'd be like a guy to try to play this off like it's nothing, Oh, ambience back on. Like a guy to try, I've tried to pass this. I think we all have. Just try to play this down. But, I've never been through this, and I'm middle-aged, and my parent, the one that's still alive, who's elderly, and, my father was born in 1918. He's been through this, hard times. But nobody really, few people, so these are trying times for us all and for countries. And I think it's fitting to not leave God out. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you. I just did. But this is my channel. I'll do what I want with it. You don't have to accept this. That's your call. I think most of you had. But if you don't, it's your spiritual path. It's yours to choose. But me, I'm not going to forsake God, and I'm a little bit ashamed that it took times like these to make me pick this up and really take it seriously again and give thanks to God and try to make a joyful sound for him. Now, the hippie chicks or 60s chicks, that story, all right? You know what? I bet this has never been done. I just gave a little Bible reading, and now I'm going to pair it up with a ghost story that took place in a bar, of all things. But you know what? The way I see it, whoever those two spirits were, God made them. If they were just lost souls, God made them. People stranded here, whatever. They seem fairly harmless to me. But who knows? But God made them. I believe, in my way of seeing things, even the fallen, God made them. And they chose to fall and they fell. But he still made them. So he knows all of us, I guess, in his own way. Such things are not mine to claim to know. Or it's not my realm to try to sort out what's between God and other spirits that are unknown. So, that said, story 36, the 60s chicks. And these candles, this thing shines I've got a hanging candle here because I really like them. I think it might cast a shadow on top of my head and some light, but I'm going to drive on with it. And hopefully it won't put beams all over. I was in a bar, not really drinking. I'll tell you what happened. This was around 2014, thereabouts, 13 or 14. And I was with my friend Amy. Amy, a very spiritual person herself, introduced me again into Catholicism. But I'd gone to school, Catholic school, baptized as a Methodist, and just kind of been trying to find my own way. And that's another story. But I had a lot of respect for Amy and her spiritual walk. And so, she was into football. I'm not into sports. I like to play sports, but she really wanted to see the football game, and I don't have a TV at my place, and she had some things going on. She couldn't go to her place. So she really wanted to watch the football game on a big screen. So we went to my town has one bar, not counting the VFW. And they've got like 2 or 3 TV sets playing the football game. And I don't go to the bar much. I'm nothing against it. I know most of the people there. Pretty quiet, friendly place for the most part. So we go to the bar. It's on a Sunday afternoon so she can watch the football game. I'm not interested in football. Yeah, not all about me always, is it? Well, all right, let me get to the story. There were very few people in this bar, and it was a long wooden bar, like a lot of them are set up. And on the other side, like if I'm facing the bar, I'm sitting on a bar stool right now. She was sitting here, and I'm looking forward, and she's facing me, talking my head off. You know, I talk a lot. I'm very long-winded on some of these. And I always call it an endless stream of Tim Blab. I call it Tim Blab, just blab, 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 blab. Once I get going, I just keep going. Well, sometimes I meet people that can keep up with me or out-talk me, and she could out-talk me. And she generally was a very intelligent person with a lot of good things on her mind. But she was talking, and I'm sitting there at the bar, and I think we had like 1 or 2 beers at that point. We were there eating some wings, drink a few beers, that's it. We weren't sitting there doing any serious, drinking or anything. Now, in front of me would be where the bartender would walk, and then all the liquor bottles, and then one great big mirror facing me behind the bar, like they're usually set up, if you can picture that. It's me, the bar, the space where the bartender was, then the counter with the till, a bunch of liquor bottles all ranged out, and a huge mirror. So I'm basically looking at the bar behind me and myself, kind of like this, and I could see Amy, she's sitting here with her bar stool facing me, talking to me, looking this way. Okay? Keep this in mind, it plays into this story. There was nobody else in the bar except maybe 3 people at the very far end, and that was the only way into the bar. There was a back door, but it led into a fenced-in backyard. So the only way in was the front door. It was way at the other end of the bar. And the barmaid, I call it barmaid, bartender, she was down blabbing with whoever was down at that end. They were talking away. So there's nobody at all on this side of the bar, I can tell you this, except Amy and myself. So I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of looking at myself and her in the mirror, and it's a big mirror, and I see 2 women coming from this way, coming towards me in the mirror, quite clearly. 2 things. One, they were too close, because there was a row of empty bar stools here, and they would have been walking through the bar stools. It seemed odd to me if something was off. And they weren't walking, they were kind of gliding. And the other thing I noticed was the one woman had her hair done up. One was blonde, a tall blonde, and she had a huge beehive hairdo, if you know what I mean. But a very, very big beehive hairdo. And she had on a bright red shirt, kind of like a blouse, that was open here, very red, and very red lipstick. Very pale skin. And, there's something about like the girl I saw in the graveyard running, the color red. It came through like coral red, like an exaggerated red, very, very brilliant red. Same was her shirt, her blouse, and her lipstick, and a tall beehive hairdo. And her companion, I would say, who was on this side of her, looked like Janis Joplin. She was the exact opposite. She was medium height, brunette, and she looked kind of like she had a t-shirt, and her hair was kind of, unkempt. Just not like she was all messed up, but just nothing. She didn't put a lot of work into her appearance, you might say. They both looked like they might have been in their mid-20s. And they didn't look scary. They just kind of straight-faced, not severe, just I thought it might have been somebody in costume. But I couldn't put it together because they were coming right through the bar stools. It didn't add up. And I didn't have a long time to think about that, only a few seconds to see them in the mirror coming this way before they reached me. And I didn't know, I thought maybe it was just some people that I might have known or thought they knew me that were going to prank me and kind of bump into me or, hey, how's it going? But you understand that Amy was sitting here turned facing me. She would have been looking right directly at them where I'm seeing them in the mirror. All right, so they're kind of gliding. I didn't see any movement. They were just moving side by side, these two women. And when they reached me, instead of someone going, hey, what's up? I felt this shudder like a cold, icy wind go through me. And I went like, whoa, it really, I've never had that happen. But they walked right through me. And I could see them in the mirror. And it was an icy shudder that I got. It just made me go, whoa. And about 1 second after that, they walked through her too. Her reaction was different. She didn't see them. She jumped up and grabbed her back end, her butt, and she goes, hey. She said somebody goosed her, right? Like grabbed her buns, just goosed her like a joke. And I turned around. They weren't there. They weren't there. They weren't anywhere. And she's like, who was that? And somebody grabbed me. And I said, you didn't see them. Where'd that tall blonde go and her friend? She says, what tall blonde? So, yeah, our discussion went on like, you didn't see them. I told them everything I just told you in the story. I'd repeat myself like I tend to do. But she should have seen them like I saw them quite clearly in the mirror. She didn't see them, and I didn't say anything. I just sat there until they walked through me, and then I just, whoa, got this icy blast. And she jumped up. She jumped because she said somebody goosed her. That's how she said it. And they weren't anywhere in that place. We would have seen them. There was maybe a good 20 feet between us and the other end where the only few other people were. They were gone. There was nobody there to see. I only saw them in the mirror. So that's story 36. The bar is the Betty Blue and Moravia. And the bar used to be, the Betty Blue was the name of the man who built it in the 1930s. It was his airplane because he used to have his own little private airstrip back in this field behind the place. And the bar used to be his own private little club. And he named the bar after his airplane, the Betty Blue from the 1930s. And it still is the Betty Blue. And kind of a quiet place anymore, really. I don't go there a whole lot. No reason, I just don't. I know the owners and everybody are good people there. And I figured, I don't know what to make of it. I thought maybe these are two women that were there and lost their lives, maybe somehow. I don't know, and came back. Maybe they haunted the place. There was a couple other ghostly encounters there. One that I had. Sure, yeah. But I'm not going to get into that. It's just not really. Yeah. So that's story 36. But if I wanted to give God a little acknowledgement, not a little bit, a little shout out here at the beginning, and know that His love endures forever. Psalm 118. And He's got you in this. He's got us all in this. He's in charge. So let us encourage one another in these times. So that's it. All right, till story 37. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.